There's good and bad news in Arizona's fight against the opioid epidemic. Results were shared this morning at the second annual Opioid Crisis Summit in Tempe. Cronkite reporter Mari Nelson was there to show us where Arizona stands with this epidemic.
Although progress has been made to defeat this opioid epidemic, the DEA says the problem is going to get worse before it gets better, and there is not just one party to blame.
If you want to point the finger, turn around and point it at yourself. All right, every single one of us in this room is partially responsible for what's happening right now.
Doug Coleman, special agent in charge of the Phoenix DEA, spoke at the second annual Arizona Opioid Crisis Summit to address the real roots of this epidemic.
Doctors started prescribing, Big Pharma started producing them, the Mexican cartel started manufacturing heroin and fentanyls.
All of these things came together to produce the opioid crisis, which has already caused more deaths nationally than car accidents.
So why aren't we taking it more seriously?
According to the DEA, 2 people die each day in Arizona due to the opioid epidemic. The Arizona Department of Health data shows us that there have been 5,800 possible opioid overdoses reported within the last 8 months. 15% of those were fatal.
Unfortunately, it looks like the problem is getting worse before it gets better.
Senior research analyst for the Justice Research and Statistics Association, Shanna Malone, shows a graph of 3 different kinds of opioids that show the steady increase of heroin deaths from 2007 to 2016.
If we don't double down and do something different now, that number's going to cross that red line of prescription opioids. It's only a matter of time.
The Arizona Opioid Crisis Summit is a chance for professionals from all fields to come together and work on a plan of action.
The problem has to be solved by all of us. The cops can't solve it by themselves, treatment can't solve it by itself, prevention can't solve it by itself, the medical practitioners can't. We all have to work together, and that's why these kind of conferences are important.
In Phoenix, Mari Nelson, Cronkite News. Coleman hopes that the organizations there can make enough progress fighting the epidemic that there won't be a need to have an event next year. Cronkite News is dedicated to covering the opioid crisis. You can watch our documentary, Hooked RX From Prescription to Addiction, and find resources for getting help online at hookedrx.org. Mari Nelson, Cronkite News.